In this video, I'll be demonstrating how to create and modify a budget in Passport. Creating a budget in Passport allows you to allocate funds for contracted services or goods. Vendors can also modify the budget configuration of their active contracts through Passport. This would be done, for example, when a vendor needs to reallocate funds between various budget lines. In Passport, users have different roles that control what they see and do in the system. To create a budget or modify a budget, vendors must be provisioned with the vendor admin or vendor financials level 2 user role. All right, so I am logged into the version of Passport that I will be using for the purposes of this demonstration. As you can see here, I am logged in as a vendor admin. So the steps that I'm about to show you to go through the process of submitting a budget modification, creating a budget in Passport, all of these steps you will have access to and be able to complete if you are logged in as a vendor admin or vendor financials level 2. So when completing this process, the first thing we want to do is slide and shimmy our mouse on over to the financials tab. We're going to click on that, and then we can select Browse Contract Budgets from the drop-down. So I'm clicking on that now. All right, from there we will navigate over to the keywords field. Before I do just want to quickly point out this funnel that you see to the far left of your screen. This is going to show you all of your advanced search options. All right, so in case you ever need to use that, this is right where they are. And it was right next to the keywords field, which is why I wanted to pause and show you that. So right now we are in the keywords field and we're going to enter in our PO number, right? The correct PO number for the purchase order that we're setting up our budget for. So I'm going to enter that in now. All right. Oops, I think I missed a couple of numbers there, so I'm going to try that one more time. 07 27 35. Oops. All right, and then from there we can click search, the blue search button on the far right of our screen, or we can click enter on our keyboards. I'm going to click it. All right, and now we can see our purchase order has populated in the middle of the screen. So next we want to navigate into that by using our best friend throughout this entire process, and that is going to be our pencil icon. So we're going to click right on the pencil icon, and that's going to take us within our purchase order. So we're going to give Passport a moment to do what it does so well. This is a test environment, so note that at times it may just be a little bit slower than the version of Passport you'll be utilizing, but we are in the purchase order. All right, and so the first thing that we want to do is click on Create PO Change Request. All right, that POCR button. From there, you will want to select the PO change request type. Remember that budget change only is the option that you will have as a vendor. It is the only option that you will have as a vendor. All right, so we're going to select that, and then we're going to manually enter the change request reason. So today we are creating a budget. All right, so now I can clickety-click on the blue submit button right at the top of the screen. Wait for Passport to load, do its thing. All right, and now our POCR has been created, and you're going to want to click on the blue hyperlink right under the field that says created PO change request. So I'm going to click on that. All right, let Passport load up, do its thing. All right, and here we are in a pop-up. All right, so this is where we are going to continue to navigate on over to the Budgets tab. But before I do, I want to show you that we have landed on the Overview tab. This always gives you a lot of general information associated with the process that you're doing. When I scroll down, I do want to show you vendor files. This field right here is where you would go to add any backup documentation to go along with your budget. All right, so if you are a vendor and you would like to add backup documentation to go along with your budget, you would click on click or drag to add files. And this can be any backup documentation that you might submit, like timesheets, receipts, pay slips, etc. And now I'm going to click into a dummy document that I have prepared for the sake of this demonstration. All right, and now in just a moment you will see it populate right underneath the field that says vendor files. There it is. So now you successfully see what it is like when a file has been successfully submitted or is successfully populated underneath the vendor files field and can go along with your budget modification. All right, so now we are going to cha-cha on over to the budget tab, which is not surprising considering that is why you are here, to watch how to submit a budget. All right, so I'm going to click on that. And here you can see that we have a lot of important information associated with your budget, such as the fiscal year start and end date, your budgeted amount, which in this case is $50,000, your invoiced amount, which is 0, which makes sense because you can't submit an invoice for a budget that has not been set up yet. And if I scroll on over to the right next to it, I will see the remaining amount, $50,000. It's not surprising the remaining amount is the same as the budgeted amount because nothing has been billed yet. So again, we have $50,000 in this budget, and we are going to have to account for every last penny when setting up this budget. So as I like to say, we about to make it rain. So before we do that, before we make it rain and allocate for every last penny in our budget, we first have to void out any existing lines within our budget. So if the agency has taken any action on your budget thus far, in this section of Passport thus far associated with your account, you will see pre-existing budget lines. We just void them out really quickly. So I am going to enter into each line right here. We're going to be within our detailed fiscal year budgets pane. And underneath the 3 buttons at the top, you will see a table with 3 budget lines already in it. I will navigate into each line one by one by utilizing our trusted best friend, that pencil icon. So here I am. All right. Now every field that is marked with a red asterisk will be mandatory for you to fill out or change during the entire process of setting up your budget. So the first field that I see right here with that red asterisk is accounting costs. So here is where we want to make sure this item category is listed as other. So I'm going to click into that. And as you can see, I have several options listed in alphabetical order. If I click on see all right, I see more of those options listed alphabetically. If I scroll down and move on to the second page, I will be in the O section. And once I look a little bit further down the line, I can click into the field that says other. So now other is the item category successfully populated where it needs to be. So the next field that I see with the red asterisk is budget line item. I see the word test inside of it. When you're voiding out a line, basically what you want to do is you want to delete anything that was already in the budget line item, and then you just want to write void line. All right, so this just lets your agency know that you are voiding this line. Now the next field that I see that red asterisk by is the edit by field. So here we're going to select quantity. All right, and that remember here that our quantity will be 0. Our unit price and our budgeted amount is grayed out. We don't have any access over changing that. And our item value, we leave blank. Note here that invoiceable is not a field that we are able to change as a vendor. That decision lies within your agency, and we're voiding this line anyway, so we probably wouldn't want it checked off. So I'm going to click save. All right, and now I can click save and close, and this line has been successfully voided out. So in just a moment, I'm going to go forward and do the same thing with our 2 remaining lines. All right, the next one is going to be the second line here, accounting costs. We're going to change that in item category. Once again, see all. I'm going to go over to other on the next page. All right, budget line item. We're going to write void line. If I could type, that would be amazing. Edit by field, we're going to select quantity. Quantity will be zeroed out. Everything else gets left as is. We're going to click save and then save and close. Waiting for Passport to do its thing. All right, third and final line that we need to void out. Item category, other, once again. Budget line item will be void line. Edit by field will be quantity. Quantity will be 0. Everything else gets left as is. We click save, save and close. All right, so now all of our lines have been successfully voided out, and now we have to add budget lines in order to set up our budget, right? So we are going to stay within this pane, this field, this detailed fiscal year budgets field. All right, and now we're going to click on add budget line. All right, from here, we see a page that is very similar to the pop-up that we were in when we were voiding out our lines, right? Same sort of process. Every field that has the red asterisk next to it will be mandatory for us to fill out. So the first is going to be item category. This is going to be a general overarching view of the type of good or service that I'm providing as a vendor. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to pretend I am a designer of HGTV fame, all right, and I am designing something for the city of New York. So my category is going to be design. Again, this field is listed in alphabetical order. All of the options are in alphabetical order. So if I click on See All, I will have a bunch of different options to choose from accounting costs to allowance to build, construction, and in the D section, I see design. So I'm going to select that as my category. Next, I'm going to focus on budget line item. This is where I want to get very specific about the goods or services that I'm providing for the city. All right, so for the sake of this demonstration, within the design category, let's just say this is for furniture and fabric. Oops, it would help if I spelled fabric correctly. There we go, furniture and fabric. All right. So again, I know that I have $50,000 in this budget to allocate. So let's just say for the sake of this particular demonstration, I'm going to allocate $25,000, half my budget, to furniture and fabric. My unit price is going to be 1, unless this is a rate-based price, such as a wage, which it's not. All right, so I'm going to want to put a 1 in the unit price, and then everything else I leave blank. Budgeted amount, item value is left as is, completely blank. And then I just want to point out once again that this column that says invoiceable, or sorry, this field that says invoiceable, I leave blank. I do not have the ability to check it out off as a vendor. Only the agency has the final say on which budget line items are marked as invoiceable. So I have successfully filled out everything in this pop-up, and I'm going to click on save. All right, my data has been saved. I'm double checking for accuracy, and then I can click save and close. All right, so now underneath my voided lines, I can see the one line that I have set up so far in this budget, that design line for furniture and fabric in the amount of $25,000. Now, if I scroll towards the middle, I see a total budgeted amount right here in this box. It says total budgeted amount, $25,000. It is for that line that I set up for furniture and fabric. If I scroll back up, All right, I can see that my fiscal year budgeted amount is $50,000. I have to account for every last penny in this budget before I can submit it to my agency. So I'm going to go through this process one more time. This time, just showing you really quickly how to add another line and have it equal the total budgeted, or sorry, have the total budgeted amount equal the fiscal year budgeted amount. All right, so that I'm accounting for every single cent in my budget. So once again, I'm going to click Add Budget Line. Item category is still going to be design. All right, budget line item. This time, let's just say it's for paint and sewing needles. Quantity is going to be for the remaining $25,000. Unit price will be 1, since this is not rate based, such as a wage. And again, budget amount, item value, leave them blank. And I do not have the say on whether or not this line gets marked as invoiceable. So I'm going to click save, save and close. All right, now I'm going to be brought back to my original screen. Here, where I scroll over and scroll down, I can see my total budget amount is in the amount of $50,000. Yay, woohoo. It means it now matches the fiscal year budgeted amount. So I have made it rain money. I have now accounted for every last penny in this budget. So I could submit to agency. I could click this button right up here that says submit to agency. But before I do want to show you one other way that you could submit your budget. Now, this is going to be good for anybody who has a more complex or detailed budget. All right, so what you would do is you would click on download budget in the detailed fiscal year budget pane. All right, and that is going to download an Excel spreadsheet for you that has all of the action that you've taken in this detailed budget, these budget lines, the detailed fiscal year budget pane. All of the action that you've taken so far is going to appear in this Excel spreadsheet. All right, so I'm going to click on that and you're going to see what I'm talking about in just a moment. All right, so let me enable editing. All right, let me zoom in a little bit for you so that you can see. %175% should do it. All right, so as you can see, this Excel spreadsheet is set up very similarly to the passport system, right? Like if you look at the top of each column, the lines or the columns that are highlighted in red are going to be mandatory for you to fill out the same way the fields that were marked by a red asterisk will be mandatory for you to fill out. All right, so item category is the same. If you click into a cell under item category and click on the arrow, it takes you to a drop down that has all of the same options you would see in Passport listed in alphabetical order. All right, budget line item you would fill out manually, quantity you would fill out manually, unit price you would fill out manually. So those would be your mandatory lines, but you could fill out anything else that you might need to in this Excel spreadsheet, right? You have a more complex or detailed budget. So once you're done, all right, you are going to save the Excel spreadsheet. All right, click out of it, and then you would upload it by clicking Upload Budget right next to Download Budget. All right, so from there, it would populate underneath the field, and then you would be able to click Submit to Agency. But in this case, again, we went through Passport and manually entered our budget lines by clicking Add Budget Line, right? So I'm all done. I'm ready to go. I've made sure everything looks good. I've made sure my total budgeted amount accounts for every single cent in my fiscal year budget, and I'm going to click Submit to Agency.
So once I've done that, I'm just going to make sure that everything has been saved successfully. Making sure I have no pop-up alerts, no blocking alerts. Yes, it looks like the data has been saved successfully. So now I have successfully submitted my budget to my agency.
For more resources on budget creation and modification in Passport, please visit nyc.gov/passport. If you still need help with Passport, please visit nyc.gov/moxhelp. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.